Hi, this is Curt, and welcome to another edition of Fire Law Roundup.
Okay, let's go over to Omaha. Omaha has settled a race and gender discrimination suit. What's $275,000, right? That's their settlement. Very reasonable amount. But what I want to point out as I go through these facts, brief facts to the viewers is look how little it takes to lose a lot of money, right? It doesn't take a whole long history of harassment. So this is a woman, Jane Crudup. She's brought the suit in 21. She was hired as a probationary firefighter, right? And when she's hired, a white officer allegedly, although I guess it's allegedly, allegedly told her she couldn't study until after 8 p.m., but then a white firefighter was allowed to study before 8 p.m. And so she alleges disparate treatment. And that's all it takes to say, well, I'm Black or African-American and I'm female and I wasn't allowed to do something that somebody who was white or male was. It doesn't take that much. But there's one little allegation right now. That's not such a little allegation because her ability to study affects obviously how she would do. So then she claimed that a white officer told her to, quote, shut up and listen to what others are trying to say. And later allegedly said, you need to learn how to take a joke and laugh at yourself if you want to have some longevity at the fire department. I personally have no problems with those statements. Mm-hmm. It seems to me you get somebody who's, just won't listen or, right. I don't have a problem with those statements. I don't think those have any inherent racial, disparity or gender disparity. And then I love this as a legal matter. I love this. Mm-hmm. So apparently she forgot to put her turnout gear away after shift. And apparently allegedly there's a practice among all probationary firefighters, not just women or African-American or whatever. And by the way, I'm not sure I know her rate. Oh, no, she's right, African-American. So apparently this is a widespread tradition. If you leave your gear in your locker, they hoist it from a flagpole. I happen to think that is a great solution. It's okay. It's a little bit of hazing, but is it really that big a deal? Unless, of course, it's pouring rain outside or something. But nonetheless, it was specific to anyone who does that, not just women, right? But there's 3 incidents. Now, she said, by the way, she claims that the hanging or the hoisting and the hanging of the gear was symbolic to lynching. I got to tell you, I don't think so. I think if they put it in a mannequin and hung the mannequin by a noose, and that might be symbolic of lynching. But just hanging your gear, if it truly was, right? If it truly was, but here's the thing: none of those last 2 things I talked about probably would have been an issue, but for the studying comments, but for a white male being treated differently. So it only takes one instance, right, to at least cause all that happened here as they settled. It caused the lawyers to worry about her claim. 3 little, quote unquote, little incidents amounts to almost 300,000. But you take away the comment about race or gender, right, on studying type thing, or the disparity between white and Black, and then none of this probably happens. So whoever made that comment cost them $275,000.
Yeah, a difficult case. And when I read something like this, my assumption is there's a lot more going on here than what's in the complaint. And I don't necessarily mean more harassment. It could be more harassment. It could be it's actually a lot worse for this woman. But it could also be some issues with her. When you can't get along with one group of people, and then you can't get along with another group of people, and another group of people, and another group of people, at some point the common denominator is not all of the people that you can't get along with. There's a saying. Let me see if I can get it right. Since this is our show, we can say whatever we want, right? Everyone is entitled to run into one asshole a week. When you start running into more than one asshole a week, you are probably the asshole that everyone else is running into. Okay? And again, I don't know if there was a lot more that happened to her that wasn't in the complaint, that, she really had a legitimate complaint, or, she's only there for 2 years and all of a sudden she's got a problem here. All of a sudden she's got a problem there with different people, not with the same group of people bullying her, picking on her, but, at some point, maybe it's, maybe there's some more that's going on there. So again, from a couple of thousand miles away, it's hard to know for sure, but it's an area that I have a great deal of interest in. It's one of the reasons why I went back to school and started studying forensic psychology, to figure out, do we have toxic people bullying? Is that the problem? We have toxic people in the fire service that are bullying people, or do we have people who are perceiving things because of maybe some issues in their own personality that may be causing them to perceive things in a certain way? And that's still their reality. I mean, it's not to diminish what their reality is. It is something that officers have got to be aware of, is that people have different perceptions of things. And just because someone's a difficult person, or maybe they have a personality disorder, it doesn't give the culture the right to bully that person or pick on that person. And you've got to actually be very, very careful in terms of how you interact with that person. I think that's kind of summing up what you said as well.
And, there is a psychology to bullying and hazing, because there's a group, right? We want you to be part of the group. Yep. Not that we want you specifically to be part of the group, but we want all new people to fit into the group. They have to bond with us for safety. They have to bond with us, right? They have to show they can be trusted in a fire. So we haze people in part because we want to initiate them and make sure they're worthy of being in the group. And it has these kind of Maslowian thoughts of trust, right? And so I'm not saying it's a valid way to have, I'd rather you just run time trials with throwing ladders and hose and things like that. But I think that's how the fire service thinks of it, that it's right, it brings bonding. Okay, so
that works just so you know, that works with 9 out of 10 people.
It does.
With 9 out of 10 people, that works fine. Oh. The other one, and what I'm talking about here is, again, what I've been studying now for the last couple of years, is personality disorders. They are going to perceive it. If you have an employee with a personality disorder, number one, they're going to be behaving in a way that's going to cause the other people in the organization to retaliate against them or try to conform their behavior. And then they're going to perceive things in a way that they're the victim, and even things that are not objectively bullying are going to be perceived as bullying. And so we've got to get our officer corps trained up so that they're able to recognize this. And, part of it may be getting some of the people to back off some of the behaviors that they might otherwise exhibit, and also possibly getting the person who needs some help, getting them the help that they need so that they can live a happier and more productive life, whether it's in the fire service or out of the fire service. That's a different story, but there's things that we can do to help them. And to me, why are we talking about this? Because this is what's leading to litigation.
Of course.
That's what I really want to know. What percentage of our lawsuits are really a function of sort of this dysfunction that we have with personalities?
Oh, ton of them. And don't forget, and I'll end on this, at least my comments, but for this one, people who have been subject to discrimination, racism, bullying, all their lives are primed, right? And I think this is proven, are primed that at the first instance, anything merely reflecting that treatment, this is a continuation. And I'm not discrediting the fact you just have your whole history of life where you're targeted for something or discriminated against or harassed or bullied. And look, it could be because you're short, because you're fat, because you're black, because you're whatever. It doesn't matter. But as soon as something like that happens, it's just triggering the entire past. And I'm not going to take it anymore. And I think when we try to initiate people into the fire service through bullying, hazing, mostly hazing, right? These initiation rituals, we're ignoring the fact that this has a real and serious trigger and impact on people. And it may not be that you just did the one thing. No, this is one thing in a line of their whole history. We just have to stop this. There are better ways to create bonding and teamwork.